Hey folks, Pat here from DNS, and this Madison area fishing report is current as of Friday, July 18th. Well, happy Friday, everybody. We made it through another week, and as usual, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, so we'll just get right into it. A smarter business person might not encourage folks to shop somewhere else where they can get their products that they sell, but I'm a sucker for the Yahara Fishing Club, and this weekend they're hosting their uh, garage sale, annual garage sale. So that starts today at right now. Actually, it goes 9 to 4 today, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow, and that's at 209 Garnett Lane here in Madison. And what this is club members can donate their gently used fishing equipment, and sometimes some of it's brand new. So you can go out and check it out, get some great deals on some stuff. All the money raised for this goes towards their free kids fishing events that they host, which I'm sure if you've listened to this report, any amount of time you hear me talk about a lot. So definitely support that. Definitely support the Yahara Fishing Club, and I would encourage you to do the same. So check that out. Maybe get some good deals on some stuff. I think that's the only thing I had promotion wise. Shop news: we still have leeches, and my bait guy talked me into getting some more leeches this week because he said they're still in good shape. So um, picking up another batch, but that's it. So after this week, they will be gone, and you'll want to stop in this week and stock up. You can keep them in the fridge, change the water every couple days, and you'd be surprised how long leeches will last a month or more easily if you take good care of them. So yeah, swing in and stock up because once they're gone, and everything that swims loves a leech. So come check that out. Just wanted to remind folks it's friggin' frogging time, and we got a bunch of frogs, and frogs are fun. There's a lot of weeds out there. I'll be talking about that in the report. And bass are looking up, so swing in and grab yourself some frogs. Door posters. I have just one poster up here right now for the Badger Childhood Cancer Fishing for Families Bass Classic. So this is up on Lake Wisconsin. They do this every year. It's a great event. They raise a bunch of money for childhood cancer research and support and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you want to go check that out, it's August 2nd up at on Lake Wisconsin at Remy's Thirsty Moose is where they launch out of. And again, it's a super cool, real fun event. They got some bands and stuff like that, and go check that out on August 2nd because it's a great cause. We donated, rod and reel combo or something like that. Because they have a bunch of raffle prizes they give away, and it's just a cool event. So yeah, go check that out. I think that's it for shop news. I wanted to let folks know that before we get started, there are a couple tournaments in town this weekend. One on Saturday is a 75 boat tournament, and these are both on the lower chain, so Monona, Wabisa, Kegonsa, and it's the Northern Collegiate Bass Fishing League is going to be hosting a tournament Saturday, and they're launching out of Olin Park, so you might want to avoid the Olin Park launch at least Saturday morning. I think they're out of there by 2:30 in the afternoon, but yeah, it's going to be busy down there, and wanted to wish all the anglers good luck, but especially any anglers from UW-Madison or in the area that may be fishing in it. Then on Sunday, the Wisconsin Alliance of Bass Tournament Anglers, or WAPTA, does a tournament series every summer. They're returning to the Madison chain, and they will be doing the same thing on the lower chain, except they launch out of the Green Lantern on Wabisa, so they won't be crowding up any public launches, but you might notice some more boats out there. And here again, good luck to all the anglers out there, but especially the local anglers from here around town. I know quite a few guys fish this series, so good luck to everyone, though. Weather-wise, we can just do the report. Weather-wise, this week it was a warm start to the week, but Wednesday we got some nasty storms come through, generated a couple tornadoes in our area, but that also brought along cool temps right behind it. So other than some rain chances on Saturday, looks like some real comfortable fishing conditions this weekend and into next week, and it looks like it starts to warm up again later next week. The Mendota buoy right now is reading 76.6 degrees, so that's 1.5 degrees lower than we were last week. And I bet these cooler temps we have that come this weekend are bring them down even more. But either way, 76 degrees is still pretty warm. And as that water works its way down through the chain, it definitely doesn't get any cooler. So if you're musky fishing, you're definitely going to want to check your temps. And if the water's over 80 degrees, you're going to want to give those fish a rest and go find something else to do. Water quality looks great around town. The Dane County Public Health website here just says Olin Park is the only one that has a little bit of sketchy bacteria on it. So otherwise, we're good to go. Lake Mendota County Park is closed here for repairs all summer. So That's good news. Otherwise, generally around the chain, outside of some scattered gills on beds, on Mendota, the spawn is basically done now around town, and we're definitely moving into summer cruise control mode, like I like to call it, where not much changes until things start to cool down here in the fall. That being said, if it's panfish you're after, outside weed edges are your best bet this time of year. Gills have their post-spawn feed bag on and are generally hanging out on weed edges. Many of those fish, though, are starting to suspend out over deep water, especially on Lake Monona, and I'll touch on that a little later. Otherwise, with the weeds being pretty thick in many shallow areas around town, shore fishing for panfish can be a bit of a challenge. But if you find pockets in the weeds, you can find fish. For gills, spikes, waxworms on an ice jig, or redworms on a little bit bigger jig work well. For crappies, crappie minnows, small minnow-shaped plastics on a jig under a bobber is a pretty safe bet. On the perch front, all I've really heard about is a couple folks finding some fish on Lake Monona. So yeah, otherwise it's been rough out there everywhere else, and I'll touch on that stuff as we go through the report. Largemouth bass anglers have been doing well up shallow with any number of presentations, but again, with the weeds getting thick, weedless plastics and topwater frogs are your best bet there. Smallmouth bass are still being found up shallow early and late in the day, but for the most part, they tend to move off to cooler, deeper rocky areas during the day. There again, any number of artificial lures will work, but drop shotting, jigging, and slip bobbering, something like a black-tailed chub or a leech can be super effective. The walleye bite around town's been good, especially on Mendota, but if you're fishing from shore, it can be difficult with all the weeds and water temps being higher. If you're in a boat, though, work rocky shoreline breaks near shallow flats during the day and move up on those shallow flats during low light periods. Otherwise, work weed edges or right in the weeds on mid-lake humps. That's is really all you need to know. A lot of walleyes on mid-lake humps right now. And it'll be like that the rest of the summer, no matter where you find fish for walleyes on the live bait side of things. Minnows and crawlers will definitely catch walleyes, but leeches have been working especially well lately. If it's pike you're after, they'll grab just about any lure you throw at them, but our large shiners are a pretty safe bet on the live bait side of things. Muskie action's been slow this year, especially recently where it's been too warm to safely fish for them. But and kind of the same thing with trout. If the water temps are above 67 degrees for trout, you should find a different species to target. I was out Wednesday. I had to check 5 different streams before I found cool water, and I did find some fish. But with these cooler temps now, I would say the streams will be in great shape for the weekend. So make sure you get out there. And again, with the muskies, if the water's above 80 degrees, you're going to want to give those fish a break. We can get into a little more detail here up at Cherokee. As always, it's a weedy mess up there for shore anglers, but you can still, fish topwater frog or something and get some fish. Otherwise, if you got a small craft, you can launch down here at Cherokee School Road Launch and get out in the main channel and find fewer weeds and bass and pike and panfish, of course. The 113 bridge area, the catfish have moved on out into the main lake, but you never know what you'll find down there. Just this week, I've heard about bass, pike, walleye, panfish, and one guy caught a real nice cat down there. So yeah, it's just a great spot that is always worth a look, I like to tell people. Otherwise, like I said, the catfish have moved out onto Lake Mendota here and are basically just cruising around, mostly, along shoreline, shallower areas, looking for food. You could catch them bluegill fishing in Marshall Park, or you could catch them trolling for walleye out in front of the city shoreline. You never really know where you'll bump into a big cat, but they're always good for a tussle. Folks do well off the breakwalls, like Warner Park breakwall and Tenney breakwall, mostly at night for those fish. Otherwise, as far as panfish go, there are still some bluegills spawning on Lake Mendota. Mostly some of the deeper fish, and the beds on Mendota are always kind of scattered. But if you do find some, shallow, gravelly with some weeds is good. Maybe you might find some bluegills spawning out there still, but otherwise, a lot of the gills are moved out onto outside weed edges, and you also could find just about anything else out there. Crappies, bass, and walleye. Weed lines are really kind of the name of the game for the rest of the summer here. Otherwise, yeah, the perch, like I said, have been tough. I really just hear about a few random perch here and there. But yeah, it's just been tough. Hopefully they start to congregate more on the weed edge and show up, because it's been a mystery for a lot of folks. Largemouth bass are mostly active up shallow. Smallmouth bass are being found on rocky shoreline areas during low light periods, and they move out a little deeper to rocky shoreline breaks during the day. Places like Maple Bluff and Picnic Point, Governor's Island, anywhere rocky, Fox Bluff, you're going to find some smallmouth out there for sure. For walleye, look to the same rocky shoreline breaks near shallow flats. If they have weeds, even better, especially on sunny days. But like I said in the intro, walleyes are on mid-lake humps pretty good right now. And, just find yourself a hump, Dunsbar, Brearley bars, Second Point, Commodore, all should have walleyes on them, and they've been in a great mood with leeches working really well for those fish. Pike are pretty much everywhere, generally hanging out, maybe a little bit deeper right now since the water's a little warmer, but there's a lot of them out there, and they're always willing to chase down a lure. Tenny Park breakwalls, I've been seeing some good mixed bag action per usual. A lot of it happening at low light hours, but and also the same thing below lock and dam. Nice mixed bag of fish. I hear about walleyes, bluegills, any number of bass coming out of there, and yeah, down on Lake Monona. The gills remain the star of the show. You know, the muskie bite just hasn't been happening down there. So, but there's just a ton of gills. You can find most of them on weed edges. But a lot of those fish are starting to suspend out over deep water, and that'll be a summertime bite. And it's great fun. It's super relaxing to just float around out in the middle of the lake, drop a line down 10, 15 feet in that, somewhere in that range, and you'll just drift along and you'll catch fish all day. You know, everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. So yeah, check that out. Otherwise, the bluegills are moving back into out in front of the the Monona Terrace wall. The crappies are also back out there, and that's been a good bite. And they've been getting some walleyes over there after dark. Bluegills also in Monona Bay, and some good bass action in there. Any of your shallow bays, Turville, Weechawuk over here, all have good weeds and good bass and panfish action. So yeah, Monona's been treating folks well. Lake Wingers, ton of tiny bluegills. I wouldn't fish for muskies right now, but the bass population in there is can be really great. There are some absolute giants in there, so it's very weedy, but yeah, some good fishing to be had below the Winger Dam. A lot of panfish in there, some bass probably too. I never know what you'll find. Down to the upper mud, the dredge hole always holds some fish on the weed edges, good panfish spot. Otherwise, the shallow flats around that have good bass, but a lot of weeds. Down to Lake Farm, same deal down there, or on Wabisa, I should say. In general, find a weed edge, you're going to find some fish. And I haven't heard anything for perch down there. Some crappie action down here on the southeast side of the lake here, Babcock down to Bible Camp kind of area down there. But again, bluegills on weed edges, not much for muskies that I've heard. Oh, I've heard about some walleyes down here in Babcock, Bible Camp area. And I talked to one guy who did all right off Hog Island up here. So anyway, yeah, that's Wabisa. Keeganza, again, same deal. That's what I say about summer cruise control. It's just going to be like this for the rest of the summer, basically. Find a weed edge. You're going to find the bluegill bite down there has been great, actually. And yeah, some good walleye action off the state park, Williams Point kind of area. Otherwise, down to Rock River, Indian Ford and Jefferson dams have both been producing a nice mixed bag of fish, like all dams this time of year. You never know what you'll find in there. But I have heard about some decent catfish action at both those dams. Otherwise, on Lake Koshkonong, I haven't heard much personally, but online folks are saying that they're getting some decent walleye and white bass action trolling out on the lake. And that's going to be like that all summer. It's pretty much a trolling lake. Anyway, just a big shallow flat. Basically, Beaver Dam's got a good catfish bite. And I've heard about some crappies up there. Haven't heard anything off Devil's Lake in a while. The Wisconsin River the flows have been up and down quite a bit lately, but they're back down right now to manageable levels as of this report anyway. I heard they got a bunch of rain up north, so make sure you're checking levels before you make the trip. Other than the high water, things on the river will also pretty much be on cruise control for the rest of the summer. So if you're looking for fish, look to outside bends in the river, downstream sides of sandbars. It's always a little deeper down below them. If you got wood along the shoreline, especially for smallmouth or literally any cover anywhere, you'll probably find a smallmouth or two sitting on them. And yeah, just any little bit of deeper water, you're going to find some good walleye. And any number of lures work. Anything flashy or get smallmouth's attention. But on the live bait side of things, of course, minnows work and leeches are great. And like I said, any river you're on, any dam, you're going to find a nice mixed bag of fish. I hear about sturgeon, I hear about catfish, I hear about smallies, walleyes, white bass. Everything you can find in the Wisconsin River is congregated at dams right now. Lake Wisconsin, I've heard about a good walleye bite and sauger bite, although size tends to be an issue. And they're getting good panfish action in a lot of your shallow bays all around the lake. And heading up the river, kind of the same thing. If like the Dells Dam has got fish at it. Castle Rock, Petenwell Dam, same thing. Haven't heard much off Castle Rock or Petenwell, but I'm sure the walleye bite, at least on Petenwell, is usually pretty good here in the summer. Mississippi River, not much that I hear personally going on other than the folks I talk to heading out to the barges, and they're getting a nice mixed bag of fish, sturgeon and walleye, pike, white bass, you never know, maybe a catfish. Over to the Big Lake, Milwaukee area, The kings they're getting kings out on the big lake. The charters are getting some good kings. I was talking to Noah Humfeld the other day. He's doing pretty well on them, from Milwaukee all the way up to Sheboygan, and some cohos mixed in there too. The coho bite from shore is still actually going pretty strong. They're getting a few fish down to Milwaukee, some fish up to Port Washington and Sheboygan. But you got to catch the wind right. From what I hear, a southwest wind pushes the warm water out and lets cold water come in, and those fish come in close to shore, so you can check that out. Otherwise, over to Milwaukee, in the Milwaukee River itself, has some great smallmouth action and some good pike over there too. So that's always worth a look if you find yourself in the Milwaukee area. Otherwise, yeah, it's trout season. You're definitely going to want to be checking your water temps around town, or around the area, because it's been warm. But with this cold weather, I think we're going to be fine for the weekend. And the creeks are in good shape as far as clarity goes after the rain we got. I think we should be good temps-wise through the weekend. But do make sure you're checking temps like next week when things start to warm up. If it's above 67 degrees, give those fish a rest. Otherwise, if you do find cold water on the spinning gear side of things, as always, suspending or sinking jerk baits like a small Rapala or husky jerk works great. Crappie-sized tube jigs. And Panther Martins run through deeper runs and pools. If it's live bait you're using, it's hard to beat a redworm drifted through runs and tailouts under a little bobber. But otherwise, the fly action is shifting full on into summer mode. We're kind of into terrestrial time right now. Here's my reminder about the temp thing I forgot to show. But yeah, we do sell thermometers here. So if you want to, swing in and grab yourself one. It's real handy because honestly, if the water's too warm, the fish also aren't very active. They get pretty sluggish. But on the fly side of things, any number of nymphs will work. You got caddis, you got beadhead pheasant tails, scuds, and pink squirrels work. But woolly bugger, always a great option in the summertime. But otherwise, dry fly hatches are becoming fewer and farther between, mostly limited to morning hours. You might catch a blue-winged olive hatch come off, or maybe a caddis, maybe in the evening. Caddis, isn't really a big summer fly, but you never know. Otherwise, there's the trico hatch. So these are just small mayflies. We can come stop by the shop and pick some up. This happens early in the morning when the sun's just coming up. They hatch, and then by late morning they start to die. So then you can catch the spinner fall. Get yourself a little trico spinner and catch that, and then be home, or maybe even back to work before anybody even knows you went fishing. Otherwise, like I said, full-on terrestrial season. I did really well on Wednesday with this little ant pattern. I love this thing. But yeah, any kind of ant, cricket, beetles, good idea. Harley had a good time last week on hoppers, although personally I feel like it's a little early for hoppers. But yeah, get out there. It's a great time of year. As long as the water's cold, you'll find happy fish, and they're looking up and are ready to eat. So that pretty much does it for the report. I do want to thank you for tuning in. Please post your comments and catches below. Let us know how you're doing out there. And yeah, feel free to call the shop at 241-4225 if you want us to expand on anything. And otherwise, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Good luck, and we will talk to you next week. Take care.